Fuck objections. I was able to earn over $100,000 per month in commissions as a salesperson without handling objections. I didn't think about objections. I didn't train objections. I didn't memorize word tracks, study objection handling matrices, or practice and role play my rebuttals. I just didn't do it, but I made more money. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 reasons why, if you want to make the money that you truly want to make in sales so that you can live the life that you want to live, you can get the car, you can get the house, you can get the watch, you can travel where you want to, how you want to, you can retire your parents, you can do all of those things if you do not think that the traditional way of objection handling your way through sales is going to ever make you more money, because it won't. And so in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 reasons why thinking about objection handling is making you less money. So let's crack in. Reason number 1. At the end of every month, you have the sales that you lost. Let's say your close rate's 30% and you take 100 calls, 70 of those calls you lost. And if you're tracking it, you'll probably be writing down, okay, I lost 7 for this objection, 7 for this objection, 7 for this objection, etc. What was the reasons you didn't close the sale? Money, time, fear, partner, shopping around. They're the big 5, okay? So then you think, okay, well, look, I'm losing all these calls from objections. I therefore need to practice objection handling to save all of those calls. Makes logical sense, but it's incorrect. Because if you actually took a piece of paper like this and you draw a column, and on the left-hand side, you wrote down the big 5 objections: time, money, partner, fear, shopping around. On the right-hand side of the column, you can write them all again. Exactly the same words. Half of the time, the words that come out of your prospect's mouth are those objections. It's about the money, it's about the partner or abdicating responsibility, it's about their perception of do they have the time, etc. But half of the time, the words that just come out of the prospect's mouth are just a cover-up. What are they a cover-up for? They're a cover-up for the fact that the prospect just doesn't want to buy from you. They feel an energetic disconnect with giving you their credit card and trusting you with their money, and also trusting you with helping them align with an offer, a service, a product that's going to allow them to accomplish their goals. Why does that happen? Well, it's very simple. Whether you believe it yet or not, and if not, you can watch other videos of mine on the spiritual side of selling, self-actualized selling, all of the spiritual side. People can consciously or unconsciously feel what type of person you are. Are you someone that's going somewhere? Inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, we teach this as rocket ship vibes. When you get around somewhere that's in someone that's investing in themselves, that's in a community of other players that are just playing a bigger game, someone that's doing the personal development, that's someone that's putting in the fucking work, you feel it. And so when you're on a Zoom call, or if it's an in-person sales process, you're around that person, you don't have that disconnect because you're like, wow, this person is actually someone. They're going somewhere. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be super successful yet. It just means you have to be doing the right actions that you don't get half of your objections as just cover-ups for the fact that the prospect doesn't want to say, you know what, I do have the money. It is my responsibility. I did actually want to buy from this service, this business, but now I'm on the phone with you. I kind of think you're a fucking loser and I don't want to buy from you. They're not going to say that to you. So half of your objections are just for that reason. So if you try and close the deals that you're not closing for objections by just practicing objections, you don't understand that half of them aren't even the real objection. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2, you've probably heard the phrase frame in sales. Change the frame. When people say it's a lot of money, change the frame. Yeah, it's a massive technique, but you probably haven't connected the dots that when you go into objection handling mode, the frame changes. The prospect knows what you're doing and why you're doing it. Therefore, a lot of the times when you're trying to objection handle as your modus operandi, the frame is so fucked that nothing smart that comes out of your mouth is going to matter because it's not even computing in the prospect's brain. They know, oh, you're trying to get me to say it's my fault and I don't need to ask my partner. You're trying to get me to say it's not a lot of money. What if we put it on a payment plan or broke it down into, $1 a day or whatever? The frame is different. The moment you've either run your pitch, dropped the price, and then you're into objection handling, or, and this is the catch, because you're probably thinking, yeah, Josh, but I pre-handle my objections. No. When you go into pre-handling objection mode on the sales call, a lot of prospects can see what you're doing. It's what's called telegraphed. You start saying, oh, how does your wife feel about this? Are you married, by the way? Like, you really think most of your prospects don't know what you're doing or getting into financially qualifying them or asking them about, are they shopping around at other options? Most prospects just know exactly what you're doing. So you're going to lose a lot of the sales that you're trying to save with your objection handling rebuttals because the frame is not in your favor. It's in the prospect's favor. You've now changed the frame that the prospect realizes they have the power. You're trying to now get them into your sale, and they're like, no thanks, I know exactly what you're doing, and they're just going to keep pushing away from you. That's reason number 2, that you'll make less money if you think about objection handling. Reason number 3, beliefs. A lot of your reality is created by your expectations. If you go into the sales call thinking, okay, I'm warming up, I'm ready for my objection handling, you're going to get a lot of objections because you're literally projecting it and manifesting it. Now, for a lot of people, they're like, oh, manifesting, projecting, no, like law of reality, The Secret, Rhonda Byrne. It's like, if you don't believe that, that's entirely up to you. But maybe you should believe it because the people that make more money than you all believe it. The billionaires, the millionaires, the top salespeople, whatever level down you go to, the people that are ahead of you understand the mental and the spiritual side of the game. So if your modus operandi is objection handling, a lot of time your beliefs are creating objections that would have never actually existed in the first place. So a lot of those objections that you're trying to train and practice and spend all your time studying wouldn't even exist if you didn't spend all that time studying. I know that's a hard one to wrap your head around, but I'll tell you a simple story. When I got into sales, it was 14 months. I was making $50,000 a month in commission before I even knew that there was such a thing as an objection. My mentor never taught it to me because he knew if he teaches me the right things to do in the sales call, you just won't get them. So I didn't even know it was a thing. And then I started seeing other sales trainings and I saw objection handling. What's objection handling? What do you mean you get something after you've dropped the price and you then have to sit there for 15 minutes? And you know what's crazy? As soon as I got that idea into my head, I started getting objections. So then I was like, oh shit, maybe I should train objection handling. Until my mentor checked me and was like, are you thinking about objection handling and objection training and objections all the time? And I was like, well, yeah, because I saw these other people that are doing it. He's like, throw that out your head, which I did. And then along with the other things I'm going to teach you, the objections just disappeared. So reason number 3, you'll make less money is that your beliefs create your reality. Your expectations create your reality. Number 4 is longevity in sales. If at the end of every call, when you're about to jump onto the next call, you have to sit there with someone for 10 to 30 minutes objection handling, you are not going to stay on the path of mastering sales for years. And it took me 17 months. I'd love to see you do it quicker than me, and you possibly could if you put in the commitment. But I don't think you're going to master sales in less than 18 months, a year and a half. And if every call you're getting objections, it's not fun. It's boring as fuck to sit there going through your matrix of your objections and your word tracks and spouting out rebuttals and seeing the prospect try and counteract you. It's not fun. It's not authentic. It's not a real conversation. You're not going to get to the top in anything in life if you don't stay on what we call the long road in the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, which simply means most people get 6, 12, 18 months in and they've already quit. They're not still training, developing in a community. You might be saying, oh, I've been in sales for 3, 4 years. In sales, in the industry, maybe doing the selling, but you're not in it. You're not locked in. You're not going to be locked into something where the methodology that you're learning, you literally don't enjoy. So if you want to master something, you've got to be learning a methodology that you could see yourself actually enjoying for 5 years. Objection handling, that ain't it. All right, number 5. I said this briefly in that last one. If at the end of every call, you've spent your discovery time, no idea what the fuck you were doing in the discovery that you're then getting the objections, we'll get to that in a minute, and then at the end of the call, after you've done your pitch, you've dropped your price, you then spend 10 to 30 minutes, you are going to lose a lot of your lead flow. I say a lot. You'll lose 10%. Well, 10%, if I was making 100 grand a month in commissions, that's 10,000 of that money would have been lost simply because the at-bats, baseball, the at-bats that you get to take a call will be reduced because a lot of your calls are going to run over. You can't be learning a methodology in sales, which means your calls are going to run over time. Otherwise, you're thinking that you're going to be closing more, but you're losing lead flow. You're going to get, one call a day is going to roll into the next call, and one of two things are going to happen. You're going to text that lead, the next lead, and say, let's reschedule. The likelihood that they do the reschedule and you get them back into a call at another time at their convenience, you're just rolling the dice. You want to stack the deck in your favor in sales if you want to make a lot of money. That's not a way to do it. Second thing that's going to happen, you do take the call, the consecutive call, the next call, but you now have less time. And if you have less time, you're going to be rushing your sales process. If you rush, prospects can feel that. And if you rush, you're not actually going to go deep enough, and then you're going to lose sales. So you end up losing the consecutive call a lot of the times, either by not getting it to turn up because you had to reschedule, or just fucking up your process because of objection handling. So those 5 reasons combined, you're not going to max out your income if objection handling is your modus operandi. So now I'm going to show you what you should be doing instead. When we go through the big 5, money, time, partner, fear, shopping around, all of those are what I call shadows. If you're in a boxing match and you're trying to beat someone up by punching at their shadow, you're not going to get very far because the shadow is visible, but it's not real. It's not a tangible thing. All of those things are not tangible. They're just words that come out of someone's mouth because you haven't shown them where the physical body is as opposed to looking at the shadow. You haven't shown the prospect reality. So let's get into money. When people say it's too much money or I don't have the money, sure, sometimes people don't have the money, but they'll go and fucking get it over the next week, month, or year, and they'll come back to you if you actually tie them down and you walk them through why it's essential. If you show them, excuse me, that the money of your product or service is significantly less than what it's currently costing them in money, their relationships, their fitness, their mental health, their spirituality, etc. If you don't learn scriptless selling, you're not going to go deep enough into all of those layers. And if you don't learn internal mastery, people don't want to be led somewhere by someone that hasn't taken themselves to that place. People don't want to be shown, hey man, you're an idiot. You're losing $500,000 a year when you could buy this $5,000 product. They don't want to be shown that reality by someone that they don't feel is actually putting in the work, getting the mentorship, doing the training themselves. People just don't want to be shown that by someone that they're like, who are you? You've ever heard that phrase? Who are you to tell me this, that, the other? Well, that's because you're not actually doing the real work. So money is not a real objection. It's just simply you didn't tip the seesaw on the sales call to show the prospect that the money you're asking them for is actually nothing. It's a drop in the bucket compared to what it's costing them currently to not have the product or the service. That's what we teach inside the mastermind. I've got a whole series on YouTube of role plays. At the end of this video, there'll be a thumbnail that shows you can go to that series. You can watch all of those role plays. But really, if you want to master this, you have to get on the inside of the mastermind and train directly with me. If you want to do that, there's a link below this video. You can click that link and come on the inside. Let's get into time. Time is basically someone just saying it's not urgent. Well, it's not going to be urgent if you haven't shown them the current timeline of what it's been costing them. Okay, it costs you $30,000 this month, $20,000 this month, $40,000 this month. That timeline is 6 months. When you, excuse me, when you show someone the current timeline of their failures and their mistakes and their letdowns and what it's costing them, they're not going to give you a time objection at the end of the sales call. So this is just a symptom of you screwing up the discovery. Third one is partner. If you don't connect 2 dots on the discovery, you'll get a partner objection. Number one is that it's actually selfish of the prospect to be burdening the people around them with all of the implications of their current situation. If you don't show that to the prospect, they come up with some crazy suggestion about abdicating the responsibility to their wife. Well, if you had shown them on a fitness offer, for example, that them being overweight is forcing their wife into a horrible situation that's entirely their fault, where they obviously have to look at other men that are more attractive because they don't want to, Are you telling me that you think your wife should be in a relationship with a man that she's not attracted to? Well, no. Well, why not? You start asking questions like that, the prospect is seeing that their lack of taking action is selfish on the people around them. I'll say this with you. If you're not making more money in sales, you're not retiring your parents, you're not taking your parents on holiday, you're not taking your wife or girlfriend to the nice, amazing experiences that the richer guys are going to take her to, vice versa if you're a girl. It's the same thing for you. If you're not putting in the work to get a mentor, align yourself with people going places in a community like the mastermind and putting in the time to do the training so that you can make more money and become more a better version of yourself, it's selfish to the people around you. If I show you that, and I would do it in a more long-winded way if we were on a call, the likelihood that you turn around and say, oh, I need to go and ask someone else for permission is a big fat zero. Second thing that you need to do as far as dot connecting in the discovery is show the prospect that the cause of them being in this situation is entirely their fault. If you just show someone the pain, the problem, the severity of their situation, but you don't show someone the cause and effect, the cause being you haven't taken these actions, you have taken these wrong actions, then you'll get a partner objection because they're not able to connect the dots that this is the shit situation I'm in that I don't want to be in, and this is my fault and my cause to be in that situation. So this is all just problems that happen further upstream by not mastering the discovery. I've said this so many times on YouTube. The discovery is what you need to master. Now, the discovery is two things: scriptless selling, having a real, authentic conversation that gets to the truth and goes deep enough into the truth. Second part is internal mastery. I said this in point number 1, 50% of the objections are not real. It's just people don't want to buy from you. Internal mastery makes your energy signature change that people actually connect with you on a deeper level and feel, you know what, I don't know why, I've only just met this person 5 minutes ago on a fucking Zoom call, but I trust them. There's something about them. That's because humans can read other people much more deeply than body language, the color of their eyes, do I like their clothing, do I like their Zoom background? People can read your energy, and your energy is going to be either you're a rocket ship, you're going places, or you're not. You're a sloth. You're not going anywhere. All right, let's get into the final two. Fear. If you don't get to the root cause, which I mentioned with partner, these two are very similar, that the reason the prospect is in that situation is their lack of taking action, and you go deeper into that and deeper into that and deeper into that and find the reason they've not taken action is they're afraid, and you bring that up to the surface in the discovery, then even if at the end of the call you said, oh, I'm afraid, you say, yeah, I know. And you just shut up. And then the process is like, well, I know we talked about it, and, my fear is the reason I'm in this situation. So what are you going to do? And the prospect will just sell themselves through their own objection at the end of the call because you've done it earlier upstream. And remember, when you did it earlier upstream, the frame was you're just having a conversation. You're just curious. You're doing a discovery. You're not trying to sell someone, pre-handle their objection, qualify them, handle the objection after the price. Soon as you try doing it in either of those contexts, the frame is not in your favor. The prospect would have the power. So fear is only because you didn't get them to see that their lies, their rationalizing, their excuses were the reasons that they're not where they want to be. And the final one is shopping around. Well, if you actually have done everything that I mentioned with the money, the time, the partner, the fear, getting to the truth, going deep enough, doing scriptless selling, doing internal mastery, when you ask someone, okay, got it, that all makes sense. So you want this, you're currently here, and you need to do this now for this reason. Why us? If you ask that question, why us, at the right time, when you've done all the right things before that, a prospect is going to very deeply sell themselves on why they want to work with you. Most closers don't ask that question, or if they try and ask that question, they haven't had a real enough conversation before it that when you ask that question, it feels premature. It's like going on a date with a girl. You've gone on one date and you say, so why do you want to marry me? She'd be like, what? But if you actually had been on a lot of dates for a year and then you said, why do you want to spend your life with me? The girl's going to give you a whole list of reasons, or the guy. It's the same on a discovery call, just much more condensed in terms of timeline. If you ask, Why us? At the right time, having done all the right things, the prospect is going to sell themselves on why they want to work with you. And remember, a big part of why they want to work with you, the business, the product, the service, is because of you, the salesperson. Most closers don't understand this. When you become more, which is going places in your life, part of that is, are you investing in yourself? Do you have a mentor? Are you in a community of people that are playing by a standard of excellence, not average or mediocrity? Your prospect actually aligns more with you, the salesperson, than they do with the product, the service, or the business owner, or the personal brand. And therefore, when you ask why us, they actually want to buy from you. So that is what you need to be doing. You need to be mastering scriptless selling and internal mastery so that you don't get money, time, partner fear, or shopping around objections. Plus, if you want to make more money in sales, you will not max out your income if you're trying to handle half of your objections that aren't even the objections prospects are giving you. You're doing it in the frame that is not in your favor. You have beliefs that are projecting these objections into your existence. You learn a way of selling, which is focusing all on objection handling and training rebuttals, that is just going to mean you don't have longevity in sales. And if you don't have longevity, you'll never master anything and get to the highest level. And it's a method, and objection handling is a methodology that you're going to keep going over time on your calls, which means you're going to lose leads and quantity of at-bats. If you want to max out your income in sales, hopefully this has given you full clarity that objection handling is not the modus operandi for you. Take it from me, I made $100,000 per month in commission, and I never thought about objections. If you want to learn a different way of selling, which is not about practicing objection handling, it's about becoming more as a person by doing internal mastery and learning scriptless selling so that you have a real conversation that prospects actually connect with you and don't give you bullshit objections, below this video, there is a link to join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, where we are all committed to this way of doing things that I just showed you now. Simply put, a way of doing things that will make you more money. If that sounds like something that you want, more money, then click the link below this video and I'll see you on the inside.